Hi there, Monday, and a special report on this Monday. We were speaking about it in the business report with Chris Gibbons earlier in the day, but a special report now as a result of the chaos that we've found ourselves in the midst of, which hopefully is slowly being sorted out. One of the people we wanted to speak to, because I got a message on WhatsApp from a friend of mine who said, this is evidently doing the rounds on Facebook. It's a message from Clem Sunter. And I read through it, and I've known Clem for a good many years. And I read it and I thought, this is just so not Clem Sunter. And I picked up my mobile phone and rang his number. And the message said the person you're trying to get hold of is currently busy. So I put the phone down, and about 5 seconds later, another phone call came through from another number, and I didn't recognize the number. Anyway, I answered it, and the person on the other end said, I've got a missed call from you. And I said, no, I don't think so, because I don't recognize your number. And I said, who is that? And the lady on the other line said, well, who's that? And I said, it's Jeremy Mansfield. And the lady on the other line said, hello, Jeremy, it's Clem's wife. And the first thing she said, and it's fake news. We're joined now by Clem. Clem, nice to see you again, my old friend. I hope you're keeping well.
I'm keeping very well, Jeremy, and taking the kind of precautions that we've all been recommended for the pandemic.
Yeah, and it was fake news.
It was fake news. I did not write the article. I mean, I think that the sentiments, some of the sentiments were right on target, but I just did not author it, and it shows the power of the internet. Somebody had obviously put my name to it, and yeah, it did go viral.
Well, let's get away from the fake news and go to the real, back to reality. Clem, what are your scenarios here amidst all this chaos?
Well, Jeremy, I mean, the whole point of scenarios is to try and look at how the future can unfold. And you cannot forecast in these days of uncertainty exactly what is going to happen. So you've got to try and look at different scenarios and then consider the flags. And I've just produced this book with Mitch Ilbery called Thinking the Future, in which we show, through looking through some of the giants of history, how you should grasp the forces driving the present into the future. And in this case, I think that the biggest force is that we haven't got the kind of economy that we should. In fact, in the book, I'd like to just quote this. We say, South Africa right now stands at an economic crossroads after years of corruption and state capture, combined with the disruptive impact of COVID-19. The coffers are virtually empty, and this is unlikely to change anytime soon. We are at a tipping point where the path we take in the immediate future could define our future for decades. And that's where we are. We've got now to put in place what in a scenario we call a people's economy, which is where, having achieved political freedom, we can now create an inclusive economy where we put the emphasis on economic freedom to create a new generation of young entrepreneurs. And if we don't do that, then the alternative scenario we talk of is called cautionary tale. And I'd like to just read that. Here, South Africa experiences rising popular anger caused by an economy that is stagnant, exclusive, and cursed by a dismally high unemployment rate. This leads to further disunity and widespread violence, with a possible endpoint of total anarchy in the chain of causation. And so, yeah, That's why you do scenario planning, because now you've got to say to yourself, what are we all going to do to help get over that tragic looting and destruction that happened last week, but which was balanced afterwards by the most incredible cleanup, which showed South Africa at its best in terms of community spirit.
It is amazing how resilient we are as a nation, Clem, and how, despite and it's still got to all come out in the wash, but despite people trying to possibly drive us apart, what they essentially do is they actually drive us closer together.
Yeah, I've actually seen several people mention that we tend to be quite divisive, but then when we're just on the brink of the precipice, we come together. And we did, I was there in the late 80s when a lot of people thought we would descend into civil war with sanctions and everything else. And somehow we got it all together and took what in those days we called the high road of negotiation, leading to a political settlement. We did not have the low road descending into civil war. But we always said that there's a second crossroads. After the political crossroads, there's the economic crossroads. And unfortunately, what Mandela and others did was unfinished business. They transformed the political landscape in South Africa by turning us into a proper democracy. But we still haven't got an open economy. And, I did a debate in 2016 with Julius Malema. And I said to him at the hotel where we debated in Cape Town, I'm just as much of an economic freedom fighter as you are, Julius. It's just that my definition is about getting ordinary people to become entrepreneurs and open small businesses and do things for themselves, because the nature of work has changed. In the last century, it was big business providing hundreds of thousands of jobs, but then automation and robotics and artificial intelligence came along. And if you look around the world, the major source of job creation is small businesses and entrepreneurs. So if South Africa wants to take the high road now, it is going to have to create a people's economy.
Is it possible, do you see in your scenarios going forward, that government is going to be able to sit down with business and with small business and become as inclusive as possible to try and find a solution to what seems to be an unending problem of joblessness and hopelessness?
Well, the first point we make after describing the people's economy scenario is what flags to look out for to suggest that it's coming into play. And our number one flag is that Cyril Ramaphosa establishes an entrepreneurship council where he brings on board some of the CEOs who founded their businesses, like Adrian Gore founded Discovery, and know what it's like to set up a business from scratch. Because there are so many incredible entrepreneurs around this country already. And it's just that we haven't got the supportive system to turn them into nationwide champions and then into international champions. I mean, for me, it's not lost on me that the second or maybe the richest man in the world was educated at Pretoria Boys High, and that was Elon Musk. And now he's unbelievably successful. We have our own examples right here, like a young man I quoted endlessly called Siyabulela Zuza, who has a minor planet named after him by NASA because he managed to invent a more energy-intensive rocket fuel than NASA. We've got these incredibly bright guys, but we don't celebrate them. And we haven't got yet a a similar thing that we've got under COVID, where you have a regular report back by the president on camera about what's being done with the vaccination program, what's being done here, what's being done there. This state we're in is a much bigger risk to the ANC than COVID. And so we should, in fact, have a council, just like we have for COVID. And we should have, as I said, experts on entrepreneurs on that council. And then the president should be going on television, perhaps every month, and saying, this is what we've done to turn our economy into an open economy. And this is the number of new enterprises that have been created in the last month. And this is what has happened to our unemployment rate and inequality and all the other things. It's such an important issue to use this moment, because as you rightly say, it's when you're on the edge of the precipice that we all come together. We should use this moment to start the journey towards a people's economy.
Clem Santa, thank you very much for your insight. Thank you very much for your time. It's wonderful to see you looking as sprightly and sounding as vigorous as you always have been. For those who are wanting to get hold of the book, I'm positive that it is available on all sorts of platforms like Amazon and the others. Just show us the title once again so we can just see what it is.
Thinking the future.
Right.
New perspectives from the shoulders of giants. And yes, it's available in bookshops and on Amazon Books.
And I believe that it also is running at #1 on Amazon in the business section.
In the business forecasting, forecasting section, it has, whether it is right now, I don't know, but over the weekend, it got to the #1 position in business forecasting. Yeah.
Well, I know that Chris Gibbons is taking a look at business books that are doing the rounds in just a few weeks' time, and I'm sure that that will be one of the books that he will be reviewing as well in his business section. Clem Santa, thank you very much for your time. We really do appreciate it here on Mansfield Today. Clem Santa, scenario planner extraordinaire, and also just a damn nice guy. And it just talks so much sense, as usual, as he always does Clem. And thank you for joining us on that special edition of Mansfield Today, brought to you by Capital Legacy. Until next time, cheery bye.